What if I told you that every no you've received as a freelancer wasn't actually rejection, but free market research worth thousands of dollars? What if those clients who ghosted you, those proposals that got ignored, those projects you didn't land, what if they were actually your business mentors in disguise? I know. Right now you're thinking, easy for you to say. But here's what I've discovered after studying hundreds of freelancers. The ones who make six figures aren't the ones who avoid rejection. They're the ones who've learned to decode it. Today, I'm going to show you 11 lessons to transform every no into your next breakthrough. Because rejection isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. 1. The dangerous equation. Let me start by reading your mind for a second. When you get rejected, here's what happens inside your head. Client says no equals I'm not good enough. Proposal gets ignored equals I don't belong here. Project goes to someone else equals I'll never make it. Sound familiar? You've created what I call a dangerous equation, and it's killing your freelance business before it even gets started. Here's the truth bomb. You're not getting rejected because you're not talented enough. You're getting rejected because you're treating rejection like a verdict instead of what it actually is, data. Think about it. When Netflix recommends a movie and you scroll past it, are you rejecting Netflix? No, you're just not their target audience for that particular recommendation. But Netflix doesn't shut down its entire algorithm because you didn't click. They collect that data and get better at understanding what you actually want. But you? One client says no, and suddenly you're questioning your entire career choice. You're taking business feedback and turning it into personal identity feedback. And that's where everything goes wrong. 2. The freelancer's origin story. Let me guess how you got into freelancing. You were probably that person everyone came to for help, the one who fixed their friend's website, designed their cousin's logo, or wrote their colleague's presentation. People kept saying, "You're so talented, you should do this professionally." So you did. You hung out your digital shingle and waited for the clients to come flooding in. Except they didn't. The first few rejections hit different, didn't they? Because you'd been living in this bubble where your skills were always appreciated, always needed. Suddenly you're in a marketplace where people are saying no, and it feels like the rug got pulled out from under you. Here's what nobody tells you about that transition. You went from being a helper to being a business owner. And business owners get rejected. A lot. It's not a bug in the system, it's a feature. But somewhere along the way, you started avoiding situations where rejection was possible. You stopped pitching to bigger clients. You lowered your rates. You started saying yes to projects that weren't quite right because at least they weren't saying no. You know what that is? That's not protecting yourself from rejection. That's rejecting yourself before anyone else gets the chance. 3. The self-sabotage patterns. Wait, let me tell you something that's going to make you uncomfortable. Most of the rejection you're experiencing, you're creating it. I know that sounds harsh, but hear me out. You're unconsciously setting yourself up for rejection because rejection feels familiar. It confirms the story you've been telling yourself about not being ready, not being good enough, not belonging in the big leagues. Here are the patterns I see over and over. You send proposals to clients who can't afford you, then feel rejected when they say your rates are too high. You pitch services to people who clearly need something different, then take it personally when they say no. You apply for projects where you're obviously not the right fit, then take it as evidence that you're not cut out for this. You're like someone throwing darts blindfolded and then getting upset when you don't hit the bullseye. The problem isn't your throwing ability, the problem is the blindfold. And why do you keep the blindfold on? Because if you can't see the target clearly, then missing isn't really your fault, is it? It's just bad luck, random rejection, nothing you could have prevented. But here's what's really happening. You're more afraid of being seen and rejected than you are of being invisible and ignored. So you stay small, you stay safe, and you stay stuck. 4. The core business fear. You know what's really driving all of this? It's not actually fear of rejection. That's just the surface level. The real fear, the one running the show from behind the scenes, is much deeper. You're afraid that if you really put yourself out there, if you charge what you're worth, if you pitch to your dream clients, if you position yourself as the expert you actually are and they still say no, then what? Then you'll have to face the possibility that maybe you really aren't as good as you thought. Maybe you really don't have what it takes. Maybe all those people who believed in you were wrong. That's the core fear. It's not, what if they reject me? It's, what if they reject the absolute best version of me? So you never give them the chance to reject your best. You give them a watered-down version, a safe version, a version you can distance yourself from when it gets rejected. Oh, that wasn't really me. That was just a test. I wasn't really trying. But here's the thing about playing it safe. Safe doesn't stand out. Safe doesn't command premium rates. Safe doesn't build the business you actually want. And ironically, playing it safe actually increases your rejection rate because clients don't want safe. They want solutions. They want transformation. They want someone confident enough in their abilities to put their real work on the line. 5. The reframe revolution. Okay, here's where everything changes. I want you to completely flip your understanding of what rejection actually is. Rejection isn't the market telling you that you're not good enough. Rejection is the market telling you that you're talking to the wrong person, at the wrong time, with the wrong message, or for the wrong price. That's it. That's all it is. Every rejection gives you one of 4 pieces of incredibly valuable business intelligence. Wrong person, they're not your ideal client. Wrong time, they're not ready to buy right now. Wrong message, you're not communicating your value clearly. Wrong price, your pricing doesn't match their budget or perceived value. This is gold. Companies pay consultants thousands of dollars to figure this out, and you're getting it for free every time someone says no. But instead of collecting this data and using it to optimize your business, you're taking it personally and using it to confirm your worst fears about yourself. Successful freelancers do something different. They treat every rejection like a scientist treats a failed experiment. It's not personal failure, it's valuable data that brings them one step closer to the formula that works. When a scientist's hypothesis is wrong, they don't quit science. They adjust and try again. When a freelancer's proposal gets rejected, they should do the same thing. 6. The business intelligence system. So how do you actually turn rejection into business intelligence? You need a system, and here's how to build it. First, start tracking your rejections like a scientist tracks experiments. Every time you get a no, write down, what type of client was it? What service were you proposing? What was your price point? How did you position the value? What reason did they give for saying no? After 10 to 15 rejections, patterns will start emerging. You'll see things like, every client who says my price is too high is looking for a $500 solution, not a $5,000 one. Or, every time I lead with features instead of outcomes, I get ghosted. That's your rejection data telling you exactly how to improve your targeting, messaging, and positioning. Second, start testing hypotheses. If you notice you're getting rejected for being too expensive, don't just lower your prices. Test different ways of communicating value. Test different client segments. Test different package structures. Maybe the problem isn't that you're too expensive. Maybe the problem is that you're talking to clients who can't afford quality work. Maybe you need to go upstream to bigger businesses who see your prices as reasonable. Third, celebrate your rejections. Every rejection means you're putting yourself out there. You're taking shots. You're gathering data. You're one step closer to finding your ideal clients. The freelancers who never get rejected are the ones who never reach out. They're playing it so safe that they're invisible. You don't want to be invisible. You want to be rejected by the wrong people so you can find the right ones. 7. The anti-fragile freelancer. There are 3 types of freelancers when it comes to rejection. Fragile freelancers break under rejection. They take it personally, lower their standards, and eventually quit. Resilient freelancers bounce back from rejection. They don't let it destroy them, but they don't learn from it either. They just keep repeating the same things. Anti-fragile freelancers get stronger from rejection. They use every no as fuel to improve their business. They understand that rejection isn't the opposite of success, it's a necessary ingredient for it. You want to become anti-fragile, and here's how. Start seeking out rejection, not masochistically, but strategically. Pitch to clients who might be a stretch. Ask for rates that make you slightly uncomfortable. Position yourself for opportunities that feel a little too big. Because here's the secret. The clients who can transform your business are probably outside your comfort zone right now. They're the ones who seem too big, too successful, too established to work with someone like you. But someone like you is exactly what they need. They just don't know it yet. And the only way they'll find out is if you're brave enough to show up, get rejected a few times, and keep refining your approach until you crack the code. 8. The systematic approach. R.I.S.E. method. Here's a concrete system for turning rejection into business growth. I call it the R.I.S.E. method. Receive. When you get rejected, receive it as neutral information. Don't make it mean anything about your worth. It's just data. Investigate. Look for patterns. Was it price, timing, fit, or communication? What does this tell you about your targeting or positioning? Strategize. Based on what you learned, what's one thing you can test differently next time? Client type, price point, or value proposition? Execute. Apply that learning to your next 5 to 10 outreach attempts. Then measure the results. This turns rejection from a dead end into a feedback loop. Every no becomes input for a better yes next time. But here's the key. You have to do this systematically, not emotionally. You can't investigate rejection when you're in the middle of feeling rejected. Step back, get objective. Look at it like business data. Number 9, the abundance mindset shift. The biggest shift you need to make is moving from scarcity thinking to abundance thinking about opportunities. Scarcity thinking says, this client said no, so I'm running out of options. Abundance thinking says, this client said no, which means they weren't the right fit. Great, now I can focus on finding the ones who are. Scarcity thinking treats every rejection as a loss. Abundance thinking treats every rejection as a filtering system that helps you find ideal clients faster. Here's the truth. There are more potential clients for your services than you could work with in a lifetime. The goal isn't to convince everyone. It's to quickly identify who's a great fit and who isn't, so you can focus your energy where it counts. Rejection helps you do that. It weeds out clients who aren't ready, can't afford you, or don't value what you do. It's doing you a favor. But for this filtering system to work, you need volume. If you're only reaching out to 2 or 3 prospects a month, every rejection feels catastrophic. If you're reaching out to 20 or 30, rejection becomes background noise while you focus on the yeses. 10. The Transformation Protocol. Here's your step-by-step protocol for transforming your relationship with rejection. Week 1. Start tracking. Write down every rejection and categorize it. Don't fix anything yet, just collect data. Week 2. Look for patterns. What are the most common reasons you're getting rejected? What types of clients reject you most often? Week 3. Form hypotheses. Based on your patterns, what might be causing the rejections? What can you test differently? Week 4. Run experiments. Change one variable, your targeting, messaging, pricing, or positioning. Test it with 10 prospects. Keep repeating this cycle. Each month, you'll get clearer on who your ideal clients are, how to find them, and how to communicate with them effectively. After 3 months, you'll have more business intelligence about your market than most freelancers gather in 3 years. You'll know exactly who to target, how to price, and what to say. More importantly, you'll have rewired your brain to see rejection as useful feedback instead of personal failure. And that shift alone will make you unstoppable. 11. The Confident Closer. Once you make this shift, everything changes. You start pitching to bigger clients because you know that if they say no, you'll learn something valuable. You start charging higher rates because price objections become information about fit, not verdicts on worth. You start positioning yourself as an expert because clients who don't see you that way aren't your clients anyway. You become what I call a confident closer, someone who can handle any response because every response gives you what you need. A yes gives you a client. A no gives you data. That confidence is magnetic. Clients can sense when you're not desperate, when you're genuinely focused on finding the right fit. That energy attracts clients who pay well, respect your expertise, and refer other great clients to you. Here's what I want you to do right after watching this video. Write down the last 3 rejections you received. For each one, identify whether it was the wrong person, wrong time, wrong message, or wrong price. Based on those rejections, form one hypothesis about what you could test differently in your next outreach. Commit to reaching out to 5 new prospects this week using that new approach. Finally, reflect on a rejection that seemed devastating at the time but led to something better later. Remember, every master was once a disaster who kept going. Your breakthrough isn't on the other side of avoiding rejection. It's on the other side of embracing it as your teacher. The market is trying to help you build a better business. Are you ready to listen?